You've heard of the gangs of New York. Now meet the gangs of Boston. Except these gangsters were no mere hoodlums, but played a key role in the riots that challenged the authority of the British Crown and ultimately led to the Revolution in 1776. The major revolutionaries in Boston are well known, but there's one you've probably never heard of, who also had a huge impact early on in the struggle. The reason for his obscurity? He was the leader of a vicious street gang. His name was Ebenezer Mintosh, and no picture of him survives. But he was known to be a small man with pale hair and a nervous demeanor. He was a shoemaker, and he went to jail several times for his illicit conduct. Often this was for his dirty work as the head of the South End gang. This group of rowdy working-class men took part in brutal demonstrations and battled against one another in the streets. Their most notorious event took place once a year on November 5th, on the so-called Pope's Day. During this riot, Mintosh led his troops out of the South End on carriages featuring colossal effigies of the Pope and the Devil, with boys dressed as imps moving the heads of the giant puppets back and forth. The carriages led a massive anti-Catholic parade of men, beating on drums and blowing conch shells, yelling, laughing, and screaming on their way to the center of town. There they'd encounter their rivals in the North End gang, and the fighting really began. With clubs, bricks, cutlasses, and other weapons, the gang members would punch and gouge each other, leaving chaos in the streets and the wounded scattered across the cobblestones. Neighboring homeowners would be threatened with violence if they didn't pay the gang's money. And once the frenzy subsided, the winning gang would take all the effigies to Fort Hill, where they'd be torched in a massive bonfire. For the first time ever, the South End gang won the contest in 1764. Ebenezer Mintosh became their hero, yet he was also arrested for his role in the violence after a carriage rolled over a child's head. But strangely enough, the people who sprung him from jail were not his fellow gangsters, but members of the Loyal Nine, soon to become the most powerful radical club against British policies in Boston. In our next episode, we'll discover why they had such a keen interest in this mob leader and how they put his talents to work in the most brazen act of anti-imperial violence up to that point, the Stamp Act riots. Until then, check out my book, Boston 1776, A Rogue Tour of Revolution City. And if you like this video, repost it and tell others, or visit my website to view other short features. For there are many stories of the Revolution in Boston, and they prove there's no other place like it, then or now.